Here we're asked to find the square root and to simplify. So the first step is to break up the square root like this. So you can have a square root in the numerator and a square root in the denominator. Then I prefer to simplify the fraction before I take the square root. If you decide to take the square root as it is, you'll have to simplify at the end. But this, I believe, is a little easier. So if I look at the fraction now and simplify it, I see 25 over 80, and I realize I can divide both of those by 5, and I end up with 5/16. And then if I look at the x's, I see that there's an x to the 5th and an x to the 3rd. What can I divide out of each of those? What's the most that they have in common? X to the 3rd. I can take out 3 x's here, and if I take out 3 x's from my numerator, I'm left with an x to the 2nd power. And the same with the y's. I can divide out y squared from each of these. So if I take 2 y's out here, that cancels. Take 2 y's out here, I have y to the 4th. Now at this point, some of you might be able to just skip to step 3 and ask what's being squared. If you find that to be difficult, let's break these up into the factors. So what is 5x to the 2nd power? That's the same as 5 times x times x. Now let's do the same for the denominator. Now I can more clearly look at what's underneath my square roots and ask what's being squared. So if I look at the numerator, I say, what's being squared? Well, x times x is x squared. So x is being squared. So I cancel that out and I put an x outside of the square root. And nothing else under the square root symbol is being squared. There's just 1 5. So that has to remain underneath the square root symbol. If I look in the denominator and say, what's being squared? Well, 4 times 4 is 4 squared. So 4 is being squared. What else? Y times y is y squared. So y is being squared. And then again, y times y is y squared. So y is being squared. So everything is being removed from underneath the square root symbol. So the last step is just to simplify. So in my numerator, I have an x and a square root of 5. In my denominator, I have a 4, and I also have a y and another y, so y squared. So this would be my answer.